What is the bureaucratic socialism or degenerate? Trotsky turned against the Soviet Union, right? He went into exile, went around the world giving speeches denouncing the Soviet Union. Trotsky never said the Soviet Union was capitalist. According to Leon Trotsky, the Soviet Union was what he called a degenerated workers' state or a deformed workers' state. And he said that the Soviet Union didn't have a new ruling class, it had a parasitical bureaucracy. That's what the term he used. He said, look, the Soviet communist leaders, this is true, they lived in fancy houses, they drove fancy cars, they got paid sometimes like 100 times the average pay of a worker. So are they the new capitalist class? Trotsky said, no, they are not the new capitalist class because they don't exploit the workers to make profits. They are a parasitical bureaucracy, meaning that the workers and the bureaucrats, their money comes out of the same place. There's not a hostile relationship, right? They're not driving the workers to produce more so they can sell more and make profits. Not a profit-centered economy, but out of what the workers produce, the parasitical bureaucracy gets a bigger share. Well, Lenin wrote a lot about bureaucracy and how bureaucracy was a necessity in the Soviet Union. When you have a shortage of food, when you're building socialism on the basis of scarcity, you are going to have to ration things out. You can't just, you're going to have ration, right? You're going to have a line of people lining up when food is scarce. You're going to have to ration food. You're going to have to ration it out. So make sure everyone gets their food. But someone is going to have to take on the responsibility of being the guard who makes sure that everyone stays in line and doesn't take somebody else's food. Right? They're going to demand a bigger slice of food because they're taking on that responsibility. Right? They could just be like the people in the line, but instead they're taking on the responsibility of enforcing the rules, so they're going to demand bigger compensation. And that is the basis of bureaucracy. And Lenin said it's a necessity. Right? You're going to have bureaucracy in a socialist society. It's going to happen. Right? Stalin, his whole idea was, okay, we're going to have a bureaucracy, but to make sure the bureaucracy doesn't restore capitalism, we're going to have a police state and we're going to terrorize them. We're going to have a secret police that'll keep them in line and be spying on them all the time and make sure they're true to the party line. That didn't work out too well. After Stalin died, Khrushchev, bureaucrat, came in there and ripped Stalin a new one. And by the 80s, half the bureaucracy in the Soviet Union didn't believe in communism anymore, and the Soviet Union fell. Mao had the opposite, not the opposite, but a different approach. Mao's idea in the 1970s or 1960s was, okay, we have a bureaucracy in China, but we're going to mobilize the population. We're going to have the young people be red guards to go out and constantly be hounding the bureaucracy and threatening them and making sure they don't take the capitalist route. That was a way of controlling the bureaucracy. Okay. At the end of the day, now what socialist countries do is they create a market sector. So if you're a careerist, you don't believe in communism, you don't join the bureaucracy. Only people who believe in communism join the bureaucracy. And people that just want to make money and just want to get ahead, they go into business. They start their own business, right? You don't join the bureaucracy. Used in the Soviet Union, the only way to get more money was to join the bureaucracy, right? I mean, that was the only way to get ahead. If you didn't care about communism, didn't care about socialism, didn't care about any of that, you just wanted to get ahead in the world. You wanted to have more stuff. The only way you could do that in the Soviet Union was to join the bureaucracy. That was the only way you could do that. Well, now, in China, in Vietnam, in Cuba, now, if you want to get ahead and you don't believe in communism, you don't join the bureaucracy. They make sure that if you want to get ahead, you better believe in communism to be in the party. The way to get ahead in Cuba or in Vietnam or in China is to start your own company. And the state controls you and it regulates your activities. It regulates and controls your activities and all that. But so the bureaucracy no longer has a lot of these opportunist elements in it. A lot of the people that just joined the Soviet bureaucracy because they wanted to get ahead and they didn't care about communism, now in the 21st century socialism model and Deng Xiaoping theory in China and the socialist-oriented market economy, now they don't join the party bureaucracy. So, it's a different way. Bureaucracy is just a fact. When you're building socialism on the basis of scarcity, you're going to have bureaucracy because there's going to be a scarcity of goods. And there's going to be some people that are going to have to play the authority role. And because they play the role of an authority, they're going to demand that they get compensation for that. Look, they're going to want more than everybody else has because they're taking on the responsibility. So there's going to be bureaucracy in every socialist society. That's going to be a reality. The question is, how do you control that bureaucracy and make sure it's loyal to communism, number one? And ultimately, how do you eventually move toward the abolition of bureaucracy? Ultimately, with communism, the stateless, classless world, the need for bureaucracy fades away. So that's when people say, China is bureaucratic socialism. Yep, huge bureaucracy in China, huge. A lot of Communist Party leaders and all of that. But that's natural. That's going to happen. And Trotsky condemning it and saying that, oh, this is bad. There's an element with Trotsky. He writes in his book, Revolution Betrayed, he says that Stalin was the natural outcome of the Russian Revolution. If it wasn't Stalin, it would have been somebody else. That the circumstances that Soviet Union was in were going to produce the Soviet Union. They were going to produce what Stalin eventually built. Socialism in one country. One party. The way the Soviet Union became, according to Trotsky, is the natural outcome of the Soviet Union, of the conditions the Soviet Union was in. So why does Trotsky condemn it? Why does he not just accept it? Right? That's where it gets weird. Trotskyism gets a little bit weird that way. Because it's very clear, according to Trotsky, that what happened in the Soviet Union was not based on Stalin being bad. It was based on the circumstances Russia was in at the time. So why do you condemn it? Why do you join the imperialists in condemning it? It doesn't make any sense. All right.